Welcome back and welcome to my May wrap-up part 2. If you haven't already seen part 1 of my May wrap-up, where I talk about the books that I read in the first 2 weeks of May, I will leave it linked up here. I needed to split them up because the midpoint of May marked the start of Bout of Books, and after Bout of Books I was travelling and basically read almost nothing. So there are a few other videos that I'm going to reference in this one that I made talking about quite a few of these books, so hopefully that should keep it quite short. And I am aware that you are seeing this well into June, but that's why I gave you a May wrap-up part 1 to be going on with. So we're finally doing this. We're finally doing May wrap-up part 2. Okay, so into the books that I read mostly during Bout of Books. Firstly, I did an ebook and an audiobook that I don't have the physical copies of. I read Cinders and Sparks, Magic at Midnight by Lindsey Kelk, which was released in the UK on the 30th of May. I made a whole video talking about Lindsey Kelk's novels, not just the ones that I talk about in this video, but I talk about that one there. So I will leave that linked up here and I'll refer back to that because I have another 3 Lindsey Kelk novels in this video. So Cinders and Sparks, Magic at Midnight is the start of a new middle grade series. Really recommend it. I'll tell you why in that video. Then I listened to a new release audiobook, which I will have a physical copy of in July because it is winging its way over here, courtesy of my mum and dad, because they went to an event with this author, and that is If You Could Go Anywhere by Paige Toon, which was released in the UK on the 16th of May. I listened to the audiobook of this one because that was the best way for me to pre-order it and be able to read it during Bout of Books week. So it accompanied me on a couple of car journeys and a couple of walks and a couple of trips to the gym, so that was fun. I really enjoyed this one. Paige Toon is an auto-buy author for me. I still have not managed to fully catch up with her back catalogue. I still have some sat on my shelf that I haven't read, which I kind of find it hard to believe because I feel so familiar with her books. But it's true. I did actually, when I pre-ordered this one, I ordered a couple of her other backlist titles on audiobook to try and catch up with them. So hopefully over the next rest of this year, you might be seeing some other Paige Toon reviews and wrap up. Yes, I read that this month from me. Then books I can actually show you, yay. I ended up listening to the audiobook of Girls with Sharp Sticks. I made a whole review about this one along with a couple of others that I'm going to mention, so I will leave that linked up here and you can go away and see my full thoughts on that one. This is Girls with Sharp Sticks by Suzanne Young, and I started reading it, but then my hold on the audiobook came. I really enjoyed it. It's a young adult thriller. Definitely recommend it. Then I had 3 other Lindsey Kelk books. 2 of them were rereads for me and I did them on audiobook, but I have signed paperbacks of them, so I have them to show you. I read I Heart Christmas by Lindsey Kelk and I Heart Forever by Lindsey Kelk. They are in that video that I already linked. I'll link it down below as well in case you missed it. And I talk in more detail about these ones. I do love the audiobook versions of Lindsey Kelk's novels. I think the narrator does a really good job, and they kept the same narrator for all of the I Heart series. So it means that you kind of jump back into something that's really familiar. And then I read Lindsey's new one. This is my lovely proof copy that says I Heart Lindsey, but it is actually I Heart Hawaii. And this one came out in the UK on the 30th of May too. This is my proof copy. Again, I will have a signed new copy coming over to Denver in July, so I'm excited about that. Then a proof copy that isn't actually out until next year, but I saw a lot of people talking about this one, and so I decided to jump in during the last day of Bout of Books. I had an entire day to devote to reading, so I knew that I would be able to do this book justice, because once I started it I had a feeling I wasn't going to want to put it down, and that is Messy Wonderful Us by Catherine Isaac. This is the proof copy. The finished cover may look something like this, but I've seen other things dancing around that maybe it won't. This one is, oh, it's just, I don't want to tell you anything about it because I don't want to spoil anything for you, because I thought it was just so wonderful. I haven't finished putting my full review together for this one because there's so many things that could be spoilers, but so many things I want to tell you about that's just wonderful. But there is a male-female friendship in this book that I absolutely loved, and this is adult fiction, and it's coming out next year, but it's going to be amazing. Then I listened to the audiobook of The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. This was also a reread for me. It was fun doing so many rereads in Bout of Books. I had 3 books that were rereads for me during the week, which was cool. I was reading this one because I had to go and see the movie of it. This is the movie tie-in version, which is why I'm showing it to you. And I was going to see the movie of it on the Friday of Bout of Books week, and so I wanted to read it in readiness for that. I made a book versus movie video about this one, of course I did. So I will leave it linked up here if I've still got enough links left. If not, I'll leave it in the description box below and you can see my thoughts. And then another one that I have a whole video talking about, I went to the publication day celebration for this book at Tattered Cover here in Denver. This one came out on the 14th of May here in the US, and that is There's Something About Sweetie by Sandhya Menon. I did some vlog footage of the event, and I also posted a whole review about this one. It's in one video, so I will leave it linked up here or down below, and you can see my full thoughts on that one. And then another couple of books that are featured in that 5 young adult reviews video. So as I say, it will have been linked up here, and I'll pop it in the description box in case I missed it. But I'm just going to show you these books. I talk in more detail about them in that video, so you can go and watch that and hear my full thoughts. The first one of these is The Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. I listened to the majority of this one on audiobook, but it did return before I could finish, so I read the last 100 pages or so as a physical book. That's why I have a copy of it here. I also started but didn't finish during Bout of Books week This Book Is Not Yet Rated by Peter Bognanni or Bognanni. This one was a total cover pickup because you know I love movies as much as I love books, so I was excited that this was kind of a cinema cover. And again, I give you my full review of that one, and I ended up doing that all on audiobook because my hold on the audiobook came through after I'd started the first few chapters. Seems to be what always happens. And then this one I just had to take out the library because it was so beautiful, but I actually did this one on audio, but I just loved the cover of it. I will be taking it back to the library right after I finish filming this video, I promise, because somebody else needs to have this lovely book, and that is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. This one I absolutely loved, and I tell you why in that video, so go away and watch that one. And then I kind of expected to be able to do a little bit more reading than I did when I started my journey to Book Expo and BookCon, or my whole time during Book Expo and BookCon, because I feel like last year when I went, I did actually do some reading in the evenings. I don't know how I did that, because this year all I did in the evenings was eat and sleep. That's literally it. So on the road to BookCon, we listened to the audiobook of This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. This is The Secret Diaries of a Junior Doctor, and is non-fiction and is read by the author, and I really recommend it. I would also pick up the audiobook, although the paperback is in complete diary form, which you know I love a diary form book, but because the audiobook is read by the author, it feels more kind of raw and authentic somehow, just because he's telling these stories that he has noted down. Sorry, my voice is clearly not quite recovered from the road trip yet. And yeah, I really recommend it. It's non-fiction. You know I love a non-fiction audiobook. This book was absolutely massive when it first came out, and so I was excited to finally get to it. And that is all we have for the rest of my May wrap-up, part 2. All in all, I ended up reading I think 22 books in the month of May, and I did squash them into the first 3 weeks of May. Basically, I listened to a couple of audiobooks in the week between bouts of books and leaving for BookCon, and then, as you know, I only listened to one on the road, even though we did like 4,000 miles. I don't understand how I didn't listen to more. But yeah, I've made videos talking about most of these books as well, which I also think is quite cool, the fact that you can hear my full thoughts in those videos. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite book that you read in the month of May was. Apologies again for this video being so late, but there's many reasons behind it, and I have been posting other videos in the meantime. It's not like my channel has been quiet. I will have, of course, my June TBR coming up for you, so make sure you are subscribed. I also have all my Book Expo, BookCon, vlog footage and haul stuff coming up, so you're not going to want to miss that. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I will see you with another video very, very soon. Bye.